Java, Indonesia's fourth largest island, with a population of more than 145 million people, is one of the world's most densely populated islands. This Islamic Republic is one of the most volcanic stretches of land anywhere in the world, with 45 active volcanoes straddling the length of the island. To the east of the island, amongst the lush green jungle, rice fields, rubber plantations and coffee farms, are men who work one of the deadliest jobs in the world, sulphur mining. It's 6 p.m. in the village of Ijen on the East Java Peninsula. Mr. Oppit is saying goodbye to his family and about to make the journey to the Kawah Ijen volcano. 6 days a week he makes this journey to work in one of the most poisonous places on Earth. Mr. Oppit's profession is the mining of raw sulphur. It's dangerous work, but it allows Mr. Oppit to keep a modest home and feed his family. Compared with others in the region, Mr. Oppit is paid handsomely and can afford to keep his children in school whilst furnishing his modest family home with essentials that many other Indonesian families in this deprived area simply go without. It's around midnight when the sulphur miners start their working day. It's a 2-hour trek by torchlight up the Kawah Ijen volcano. The miners hike through the night with the intention of reaching the rim of the volcano by first light. The working hours of the mine are limited by the government to minimise risks, and so the miners can only work from first light till 1 p.m. It's a difficult 3-kilometre trek up the mountain over challenging terrain, but the miners have become accustomed to working in these challenging conditions. The tourist industry has begun to bloom in Kawah Ijen, with thousands of tourists each year visiting to see the natural phenomenon known as the blue flame. These large electric blue flames are what the tourists have come to see. The blue flames are created by ignited sulphur gas emerging from the cracks in the earth at temperatures of more than 600 degrees Celsius. Nowhere else in the world can such a natural spectacle be seen so up close. Some of the miners have seized upon the new opportunities that come with an influx of tourism into the region. Some sell their expertise as guides, whilst others sell handcrafted souvenirs made from sulphur to tourists along the ridge of the volcano. From the ridge of the volcano to the crater floor, it's 300 metres of steep climbing over rocks and eroded paths. It was December at the time of filming, which is a low season for tourism in the area, when only small groups of tourists can be seen navigating the crater paths alongside the miners. In the summer there can be hundreds of tourists and miners passing up and down the narrow crater paths. There's regular tour guides who bring tourists to the viewing point where they can catch a glimpse of the blue flame. A warning sign, written in English, warns people not to go further down into the crater because of the poisonous gas. Using wooden baskets, the miners balance their heavy loads over their shoulders as they slowly climb the crater. The sulphur miners carry between 70 to 100 kilograms of raw sulphur up the crater each journey. With miners carrying more than their own body weight in sulphur, accidents along the rock face are not uncommon. It might look like a scene from another planet, but this lunar-looking landscape is the crater floor of the Kawah Ijen volcano. It's one of the few places in the world where hydrogen sulfide is released through cracks in the Earth's surface. The corrosive properties of this yellowish fog are what causes the miners to cough and choke whilst they work. When the hydrogen sulfide combines with water, sulfuric acid is created. This chemical reaction is the reason the foul-smelling gas stings the eyes and burns the lungs of the miners. Poverty and lack of employment opportunities drive some of the men to the mine, although for the most part, the lucrative salaries available are enticement enough. The miners can earn up to 70,000 Indonesian rupiah, that's almost $7 a day, roughly 5 times more than the average worker on a local farm would earn. It's dangerous work for the miners of Ijen, but the men have accepted that for them, the risk is worth the reward. All the men work for PT Kandi Negrimbi, the company who own the mine. It's a simple arrangement whereby the company pays each man according to how much sulphur he collects. The hydrogen sulfide gas is released from the earth, which is channeled through thick ceramic piping, forcing it into a liquid form of elemental sulphur. The liquid sulphur runs down the piping, and when it reaches the cool air outside, it solidifies. It's this bright yellow form of sulphur that the miners collect and sell to make their living. Every day, one of the more experienced miners must climb up alongside the piping and spray them down with water. To keep the pipes blockage free by cooling the ceramic piping and allowing any collecting sulphur within to be flushed through the system and harvested below. It's a dangerous task where one slip could send a miner falling on top of the boiling pipes or into a puddle of boiling liquid sulphur. Sulphur is an excellent bleaching agent used in cleaning products, fertilizers, cosmetics, explosives, and even the refinement of sugar. The extracted sulphur will be taken away from Kawah Ijen and undergo a purification process in a nearby factory. Eventually, the purified form of sulphur will be exported internationally to European, Asian, and American companies. The turquoise lake in the middle of the volcano's crater may look beautiful, but it's one of the most acidic stretches of water anywhere in the world. It's hot to the touch, and the foul stench of eggy-smelling sulphur wafts out from the water. Years of sulphur mining at Kawah Ijen have helped to turn the lake into the most acidic lake known to man. The miners collect washed-up sulphur from the edge of the lake, but they must be careful not to touch the warm acidic water. A splash of the lake's water to the miner's skin would leave a chemical burn, and if it were to get into his eyes, the damage may be irreversible. In a hut besides the mine on the crater floor, miners take breaks where they eat packed lunches prepared by their wives. They laugh and joke amongst each other despite the harsh conditions they find themselves in. The majority of miners have deformed shoulders and back problems from the years of strenuous work at Kawah Ijen. The miners know the longer they carry on this dangerous profession, the more likely they are to develop health problems in later life. But for now, they comfort themselves in earning a decent salary and being happy in one another's company. It's around 6 AM when Mr. Oppet makes his way back down the crater to collect his final load of the day. Mr. Oppet risks developing lung disease by working in the suffocating gas, but he has no choice if he wants to take home a good salary. It's a hard life for Mr. Oppet, but he does this work in the hope that his children won't have to. His wages will pay for his children to attend higher education, and eventually get a job away from the creamy smoke of Kawah Ijen. Mr. Oppet is similar to many miners in Eastern Java. He's chosen to work in the sulphur mine so that he can provide a better life for his family. With a wife and child and another on the way, Mr. Oppet has many mouths to feed and bills to pay.
Karena penghasilannya besaran di sini, Mbak. Kalau penghasilan kerja harian minimal 50.000, 45 itu udah nggak ngecukupi, Mbak. Sama belanjaan di rumah gitu. Belum lagi angsuran gitu. Masih air terus habis itu jangka 5 menit itu udah kayak batu dah. Kena angin jadi batu. Jadi habis itu didongkel terus habis itu dapat kira-kira 1 pikul lalu dimasukin ke keranjang. Habis itu dikeluarin dah. Ya dipikul sampai ke atas. satu pikul itu kayak tadi itu minimal 70, 65 gitu. Tapi balik 3 kali. Ya gini waktu ngambilnya itu susahnya. Sama gini sama naiknya ke atas.
Carrying roughly his own body weight in sulphur, it's important for Mr. Oppert to be balanced as he ascends the crater out of the volcano. Accidents are not uncommon in the sulphur mining industry, and even for those that remain injury-free throughout their career will still often develop back and leg problems from carrying such arduous loads over the years. In developed mines around the world, modern equipment and methods are used which make the old-fashioned, labour-intensive mining practiced at Kawah Ijen redundant. The miners of Kawah Ijen have always fiercely resisted modernisation of the mine because they see mechanisation as a guarantee that hundreds will lose their jobs. The miners know that one machine can extract more sulphur than 100 men and at a much faster speed. It's almost 8 AM by the time Mr. Oppert reaches the ridge of the volcano with his final load of the day. There's little time to rest before he needs to process the sulphur, ready to bring down the mountain. The miners break down the sulphur into smaller pieces using a hammer, then load them into sacks before stacking them on their carts. The carts are the only form of modernisation to reach the mine in recent years. Initially opposed by the miners, they are now embraced for the increased business opportunities they provide. The miners can now take far more sulphur down the mountain, bringing them a larger paycheck every day. Others use their carts in the early hours of the morning to offer taxi services. For roughly $30 one way, a tourist can be given a ride up or down the mountain. For some of the miners, their working day is finished. During their weekly shifts, the miners who live far away will spend their nights in a hut halfway down the mountain. The hut is old and damp in places, but being constructed of solid concrete means it offers sufficient shelter from the harsh elements of Kawah Ijen. The afternoons and evenings are mostly spent eating, socialising with one another, or catching up on much needed rest. During the night, the temperature drops, and there are few beds and even fewer blankets to keep out the cold. It's around 10 AM by the time Mr. Oppert arrives at the base of the mountain and heads to the weigh station. The miners gather at the weigh station, waiting for the weigh station master to arrive, weigh their load and issue the all-important payment ticket. All that's left is for him to load his sulphur onto the waiting truck. The sulphur will be taken to a factory in the surrounding jungle, where it will undergo a purification process before being exported to international businesses around the world.
112 dapat 140.
It's been a good day for Mr. Oppert. On top of receiving his payment for the day, the station master has given him some cash for a previously unpaid ticket. With the truck fully loaded, the sulphur will be driven to a processing factory deep within the jungle surrounding the Kawah Ijen volcano. Every day, a team of workers will take the raw sulphur extracted from the volcano and transform it into a finished product, ready to be exported to international clients around the world. Fires are lit in concrete furnaces below large steel cauldrons which are filled with a small amount of water. The solidified form of sulphur extracted by the miners is then gradually added to the boiling water, and the first stage of the process begins. The solidified sulphur melts down into a liquid, which is then poured through the first filter of the process. In the second stage of the purification process, the liquid sulphur continues to boil in a second cauldron, and the water present in the liquid continues to evaporate, leaving only the pure sulphur. A worker uses a large sieve on a wooden pole to remove the gathering sediment from the bottom of the liquid. The sediment is comprised of unwanted rocks and minerals that are unavoidably collected when sulphur is mined in the traditional way practiced at Kawah Ijen. It's this final filtering process that will remove any smaller particles of unwanted material from the liquid before it reaches the final stage of the purification process. The liquid sulphur is poured onto a tiled floor which has been slightly wetted with water. Its temperature cools and it becomes solidified once again. This solidified form of sulphur is then chipped up by the workers, broken up into smaller chunks and placed into sacks ready to be exported. The finished product is stored at the company's warehouse ready to be exported to international clients around the world. The sulphur will eventually be used for a variety of purposes and utilised as a bleaching agent in many products. Detergents, batteries, skincare treatments, soaps, powders and even fertilisers all use sulphur like that mined at Kawah Ijen as a key ingredient. For the people of Eastern Java, the Kawah Ijen volcano is a vital source of income for thousands across the region. Mr. Oppit's family, like many others in the region, are entirely dependent on the volcano in one way or another. For Mr. Oppit, the volcano gives him the opportunity to earn a decent salary, feed his family, and send his children to a higher education. Despite being one of the most poisonous places on Earth, the Kawah Ijen volcano brings life to this region in an otherwise forgotten part of the world.